This is the tutorial to install the Kubernetes Security Lab written by Rory McCune. I'm on Windows, and the installation will be similar, if not much easier, on Mac and Linux, so no worries. All right, let's do this. So we're going to start off by installing the Ubuntu app within Windows. I'm running Windows 11, by the way. Okay, so now that it's downloaded, we're going to open it up, and we're going to do pretty much everything in the Ubuntu app from here forward. All right, here we go. We have our shell. Now we're pretty much just going to be spitting off commands from this install guide that I made. Now, for the more, for the initiated, I suppose, really all we're doing here is we're installing kind, the correct version, which is not the most recent version. Docker, although we already have Docker Desktop, Ansible, and Cubectl. That's all we're doing. But on Windows, this is kind of tricky. There's some gotchas, so I'm making this video as a visual aid for people. But you know, if you feel confident in doing that, then just use the instructions, and it's all good. Okay, let's do this. So first we're going to install Cubectl along with kubeadmin and kubelet. Just click this link. And here we go. To paste into this shell, you just right click, by the way. That will save you a lot of trouble. Oh my god, did I mistype my own password? Holy shit, I have to uninstall. Wait, no, I'll just create a new user. Oh god, I fucked up my password. Okay, I remember my password. That was embarrassing. Anyways, yeah, so we're just gonna be firing off commands from our install guide on the right here. Okay, nice. So now we have the kubelet, kubeadmin, and most importantly, Cubectl installed. And we're just going to test our installation by running 3 commands. Cubectl, we're good. Kubeadm, we're good. And kubelet CLI. Looks like we have some stuff deprecated, but we're good because we don't use it directly anyways. Okay, so now moving on to Docker. So for Docker, I have some install instructions for Linux and Mac here specifically, but on Windows, you really just install Docker Desktop. But most importantly, and this is a huge gotcha, is you have to basically configure it so that it can reach Windows subsystem for Linux, just like in the picture here. So let me just pull that up. Okay. So we go to settings at the top. Just loading here. Docker Desktop is still starting. Okay, cool. Now we go resources, WSL integration over at the bottom. And I have Kali Linux and Ubuntu installed using Windows subsystem for Linux, but obviously we're using Ubuntu, so we just use this slider, and now now we're able to access our Docker Desktop from our Ubuntu system. So hit apply and restart. And now, if you want to test this, back over in our Ubuntu shell, we're going to run docker ps. And as you can see, it doesn't work yet. So this is like what would happen if you didn't do that configuration. You get this message, blah, 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 can't find the Docker daemon. So we're going to close this because it probably doesn't realize that we made the setting change. We're going to reopen it. Docker ps, and there we go. Now we can reach our Docker installation on Windows from Windows subsystem for Linux. So cool. Yeah, just figuring that out took me like an hour and change. So, you know, avoid the frustration. Okay. So now we are moving on to our Ansible installation. We're just going to be running these commands over here. Basically, it's just as simple as sudo apt-get install Ansible, but first you have to install their repository, and you have to install something called software properties common. Again, if you're an advanced user, this probably won't ruin your day, but I've just put it here for people to get up and going a little quicker. Okay, so it looks like this command here was failing. I haven't bothered to look into what it actually is doing, but I just went ahead and skipped to installing Ansible, and it seems like we're good. We run Ansible, and more importantly, what we will be running later, Ansible Playbook, and we get no errors. So let's move on to installing Kind. So one thing you'll notice about the Kind installation is, at least at this point in time, which is it's August 2022, we are pinned to a certain version of Kind for this project. So we have to use version 0.11.0, and so here are the instructions to specifically install that. Just copy this command. It's not responding, so just Control C and try it again. Still not responding. Let's give it some time. Control C and try again. And it's responding. I don't really understand why, but it seems to work. So third time's a charm, I guess. I don't know. So now we are going to make that Kind binary executable using chmod, and we're going to move it into user bin so that it's in our path. Now we run Kind, and boom, it's working. Nice. Moving on, installing pip3. And now that pip3 is installed, we're going to install the Python 3 Docker module using pip3 install Docker. Nice. Okay, and we have everything installed. We've checked that everything is installed by running the associated commands. We've run kubectl. We've run Kind, or yes, we did, yeah. We know that Docker is installed because we use docker ps, and we can clearly, I mean, yours would be empty, but docker ps is working. And kubeadm just to be safe. Yeah, so now I always like to exit out and open it back up just so that everything reinitializes. Sometimes that causes things not to work. And yeah, we're gonna go create cluster. This should create a cluster for you. For me, it's not going to because I already have run this, and so it's complaining that we have a cluster that's already named kind, and that's fine. But you need to run this to initialize things. And then now that we have all of the prerequisites installed, we're going to actually use Cubectl. So we're going to clone the repo, and Git ships with this Ubuntu app, so we didn't need to install it ourselves, so that's cool. We're going to hop in there, cd Cubectl, and we're going to use Ansible Playbook to the Ansible Playbook command to run an Ansible Playbook. And if this command goes right, then you are pretty much ready to start using this project as it's intended. Okay, it did not go right. Huh. Wait, no. Oh, sorry, I got scared for a second. Nope, it's just, it's complaining that this cluster already exists. Okay, so just for the sake of this video, I'm gonna go ahead and delete that cluster and rerun this command. 1 second. And now we try again. Ansible Playbook space insecure -port.yaml. Okay, so it's up. This is good. We are ready to go. And as you can see, as the final task in the Ansible Playbook, we actually got the cluster IP address. So this is the Kubernetes cluster we're going to be attacking. We're using kind, which means that we can use Docker to virtualize everything. And most importantly, what's really cool about this project is you can actually have your own client machine within Docker. So like, for example, if we were to try to hack this Kubernetes cluster within Docker that we just made from our host machine, that wouldn't really be realistic because we're already the host. We already have privileges. Ideally, you would be trying to hack the host. So if you are the host at the same time, you see what I mean? It's not a perfect virtualized, it's not a perfect playground. But what Rory did so well is he created a client machine that we can start up called client machine.yaml. And when we go into this Docker container, that's where we're going to be hacking Kubernetes from. It's going to be from this client machine that has all the tools that we need. And that way we don't actually have to worry about the question of like, is this realistic? It's quite realistic, yeah. Like the networking and stuff is probably a little different. It's kind of beyond what I know at this point in time, but it's good enough for me, and it's definitely the best option out there right now for hacking Kubernetes from home. Okay, so yeah, everything's up. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Let's get on with the series.